Okay, this video is going to show you how to solve the problems on the test review. Our first problem was Roger wants to carpet a rectangular room with a length of 6 2/5 feet and a width of 7 1/4 feet. If he has 50 square feet of carpet, how many square feet of carpet will be left after he covers the floor of the room? The first thing I'm going to do is draw the room. This will just help me visualize what the problem is asking for. So I have 6 2 feet length and the width is 7 1/4 feet. When it's talking about carpeting, you're going to be, whenever you put carpet in a room, you would put it on the floor of the room, which would be the area of this rectangular room. So the first thing I have to do is find the area. I'm going to take 7 1/4 times 6 2/5 to find the area of a triangle, or I'm sorry, a rectangle. It's length times width. That's why I'm taking those two measurements. So the first thing I do here is change my mixed numbers to improper fractions. 4 times 7 is 28 plus 1 is 29. 5 times 6 is 30 plus 2 is 32. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is look to see if I can cross reduce. Here I have 4 and 32, which are both divisible by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 32 divided by 4 is 8. Now I can multiply top times top and bottom times bottom. 29 times 8. 8 times 9 is 72. 8 times 2 is 16. Plus 7 is 23. So I have 232 over 5. I'm going to have to change this improper fraction to a mixed number. So I'm going to take 232 and divide it by 5. 5 goes into 23 4 times. 4 times 5 is 20. Subtract and bring down. 5 goes into 32 6 times. 5 times 6 is 30. And I have a remainder of 2. So this mixed number would be 46 2/5. That is the area of the carpet, or the area of the room, so that's how much carpet they would need. They have 50 square feet of carpet, so I'm going to subtract 46 2/5 from 50. I have to regroup 50 as 49 5/5, and then I can subtract 5/5 minus 2/5 is 3/5, and 49 minus 46 is 3. So the answer to this first problem, how many square feet of carpet will be left over, is 3 3/5 square feet. Number 2, Carla bought 10 1/4 pounds of coffee beans. She wants to repackage them into as many 3/5 pounds bags as possible. How many pounds will she have left after she has packaged as many coffee beans as she can? Well, the first thing I can do, there's a lot of different ways to do this problem. The first thing I'm going to do is divide 10 1/4 by 3 3/5 to see how many whole bags she can make. So I'm going to do 10 1/4 divided by 3/5. So I'm taking the whole amount of coffee and putting them into groups of 3/5. All right, so the first thing is to change the mixed number to an improper fraction. 4 times 10 is 40, plus 1 is 41. Now I'm going to keep it, change it, flip it. So I keep the first number the same, change the sign from division to multiplication, and I'm going to flip the second. These cannot be cross-reduced, so I'm going to go ahead and multiply top times top. 41 times 5 is 205. 4 times 3 is 12. This is an improper fraction, so I'm going to divide it so I can get my mixed number. 205 divided by 12. 12 goes into 20 one time with 8 left over. Bring down my 5. Let's see, 12 times, I'm going to just check to see how many times 12 goes into 85. I know 12 times 4 is 48, and 12 times 5 is 60. Let's try 12 times 7. 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 1 is 8. 7 plus 1 is 8. So that's 84. So it goes in 7 times with a remainder. So I know I can make 17 bags. Okay? Now I'm going to see how many ounces that, or how many pounds that actually is. So I'm going to take 3/5 times 17. 3 times 17, let's multiply that out. I know I'm kind of jumping around here, but try to follow me. 7 times 3 is 21. 3 times 1 is 3 plus 2 is 5. So I have 51 over 5. 5 goes into 51 10 times with 1 left over. So if she started out with 10 1/4 pounds, she's using 10 1/5 pounds in her packaging. Okay? So I'm going to subtract those two numbers to see how much she has left. So I have, I'm going to erase some of this. All right. So now I have 10 1/4 minus 10 1/5. I'm going to find a common denominator, which is 20. 5 times 4 is 20. 1 times 4 is 4. 4 times 5 is 20. 1 times 5 is 5. So 10 and 5/20 minus 10 and 4/20 is 1/20. And that's how much she has left over. 1/20 of a pound. Next problem. Jeff wants to put 1/4 of his earnings into his savings account. If he worked for 40 hours and made $12 an hour, how much should he place into savings? All right, so I'm going to first start with how much he made. I need to know how much he made total and then take 1/4 of that. So he worked for 40 hours and made $12 an hour. So I'm going to do 40 times 12. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 4 is 8. Get my 0 down. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 4 is 4. So he made $480. Now I'm going to take 1/4 of that. Remember, of is represented by multiplication. So I'm going to put 480 over 1 times 1/4. I can cross reduce here. 480 is divisible by 4 because if you look the last two digits, it's 80, which is divisible by 4. So I need to see how many times 4 goes into 480 because that's what the 480 is going to change to. 4 goes into 4 once. 4 goes into 8 2 times. And 4 goes into 0 0 times. So this is going to change to 120. 120 times 1 is 120, and 1 times 1 is 1. 120 would be my answer. Next problem. Penny is drawing pictures with colored chalk on her driveway. She has red, yellow, and blue chalk. Her mother ropes off an area of the driveway for chalk drawing that measures 8 feet by 3 feet. If Kennedy colors 1/5 of the roped off area blue and 1/4 of the roped off area red, write an equation that can be used to find the area of the roped off section of the driveway that is not colored. And once again, this problem has more than one way to solve it. I'm going to draw the driveway, and it measures 8 feet by 3 feet. That is helping me visualize what exactly it's going to look like. So, first of all, I'm going to start with the area of the driveway. The area of a rectangle, once again, is length times width. So I'm going to take 8 times 3, which is 24. Now, I'm going to take that 24 and then subtract out the areas that she colored red and blue, because that would be the area that is left over that's not colored. So I'm going to subtract out, and then to find out how much she roped off blue, you would take the area, which is 24, and multiply it by 1/5, because that's how much she colors the driveway blue. And then I'm going to add to that the area that she roped off for red, that she colored red. So I'm going to take 24 times 1/4. Now these two represent how much she colored blue and red. So that's the amount that's colored. I'm adding those together and subtracting it from the total area. What is 3 divided by 8 expressed as a decimal? So I'm taking, remember, the top number goes underneath, the bottom number goes outside. 8 cannot go into 3, so I'm going to add a decimal and a 0. 8 goes into 33 times, which is 24. 30 minus 24 is 6. Add my 0 and bring it down. 8 goes into 67 times. 7 times 8 is 56. I have a remainder of 4, but remember when we're dealing with decimals, we don't want remainders. So I'm going to add a 0 and bring it down. 8 goes into 45 times. 5 times 8 is 40. And I'm done. So 3/8 expressed as a decimal is 0.375. A local newspaper is having an essay contest. Elise is writing a 500-word essay about the qualities of a good friend. The winner of the contest receives unlimited entry for 2 people to any state park for a year. I'm going to go ahead and cross out through that because that's not going to help me in my calculations. Elise has completed 3/5 of her essay. How many words has Elise written and how many words must she write to complete her essay? To find out how much she's written, I'm going to take 500, I'm going to put a 1 under it, and multiply it by 3/5. I can cross reduce here. 5 goes into 5 once, 5 goes into 500 100 times, because 100 times 5 is 500. 100 times 3 is 300. That tells me how many words she has written. To find out how many she has left, I'm going to take however many, the total words in the essay, and subtract out what she has written. So she has 200 words to go. Children with different ethnic backgrounds go to one world charter school. All the students enrolled at the school speak English fluently. 1/4 of the students enrolled in the school can also speak Spanish fluently. 1/5 of the students who can speak Spanish fluently can also speak a third language. What would be the steps you would take to correctly find the fraction of students enrolled at one world charter school who can speak 3 languages? Remember when we were doing the models, we would take 1/4 and take 1/5 of that. That was multiplication. So 1/4 of the total students enrolled in the school can speak Spanish fluently. 1/5 of 1/4 can speak a third language. Of is multiplication. So 1/5 of 1/4, you would take those 2 fractional amounts and multiply them together, which would be 1/20th. And that's the amount of children at the school that could speak 3 languages. Gabriella's father taught her to estimate distances by pacing. She knows that her normal size stride is about 3 3/4 feet long. Gabriella's father needs an estimate of how much barbed wire and fencing will enclose an irregular plot of land on their ranch. Knowing exactly where her dad plans on putting up the fence, Gabriella volunteers to pace the perimeter of the plot of land and tell him how much fencing is needed. The reason why she paces the perimeter is because fencing goes around the outside of an area. Gabriella counts 68 paces on the north side, 120 paces on the east side, 140 paces on the south side, and 52 paces on the west side. To find out what the perimeter is, I'm going to take each of those distances, I'm going to add those together, and then multiply the total by 3 3/4. So I have 68 plus 120 plus 140 plus 52. 8 plus 2 is 10. 6 plus 1 is 7. Plus 2 is 9. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. Okay, so I add those up, and that's 380. I'm going to take that 380 and multiply it by 3 3/4. To do that, I'm going to change them both to improper fractions. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 3 is 15. 380 and 4 can cross-reduce. 380 divided by 4, 4 goes into 38. 9 times. So 38 minus 36 is 2. Bring down your 0. 4 goes into 25 times. So the 380 goes to 95. Now I multiply across top times top. So 95 times 15. 95 times 15. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 9 is 45 plus 2 is 47. Add your 0. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 9 is 9. So I have 5, 12, 14. So it's 1,425. You cannot stop there because that's how much the outside is. Then she added 20 feet to that total to tell her father how much to buy. So I'm going to add 20 to that. And my answer is 1,445. And that's how much barbed wire she would have told her dad to buy. 1,445 feet. Our next problem is Lino buys a pack of sugarless chewing gum from a vending machine for 50 cents. The pack contains 5 sticks of gum. If he removes 4 of the 5 sticks from the pack and then chews a half of the sticks, he removes the portion of the gum that he has removed from the pack and chewed can be calculated by using the expression. So basically all of this information at the top is coming to 1/2 times 4/5. And you have to decide which model is correct. So they're saying step 1 would be to separate the box into 5 horizontal pieces, and you would need to shade 4 of the 5. So immediately I can eliminate C and D. Step 2 then would be to split the box in half and shade 1 of those 2 pieces. B is not separated into half, so A would be your answer. Our last problem, a t-shirt production company charges a $50.75 setup fee to design a shirt. They also charge $3.25 per shirt. The student council decides to order shirts for students to wear at the end of the year party. To find the total cost, they use the expression $50.75 plus $3.25S, where S is the number of shirts they order. Draw a table that could express this relationship. Okay, so here's my table. I'm going to say, I think some of you remember this problem from the DLA. So over here it was 150, 200, let's just say 250. Okay, so to find out the cost, I would take 150 and replace it for S. So 150 times 325. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 2 is 7. Add your 0. 2 times 0 is 0. 5 times 2 is 10. 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3. Add 2 zeros. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 5 is 15. And 3 times 1 is 3 plus 1 is 4. 0, 5, 7, 8, 4. There's 2 decimals here, so I'm going to move over 2 times, and it's $487.50. But they also charge $50.75 for the setup fee. So that's 5, 2. Remember, when you add, you're going to stack your decimals. Line them up. 7 plus 1 is 8. 8 plus 5, 13, 5. So I have $538.25. 200, so I'm going to take 150 times 200. Oh, I'm sorry, not 150. 200 times 325. So I'm going to do 0, 0, 10, 0, 0, 0, 4, 0, 0, 0, 0, 6. 2 decimal places, so that's $650. plus $50.75. And that will give you $700.75. Finally, we're going to do 250 shirts. I wish I had picked easier numbers. All right, so 250 times 325, 0, 5 carry the 2, 12, 0, 0, 0 carry the 1, 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5, 0, 0, 0, 5 carry your 1 and 7, 2 decimal places, $812.50, plus the 50.75, so 5, 12, remember decimal place stays the same, 3, 6, 8. So it's $863.25.